close to, it looks like 100 miles an hour, now getting off on Culver here in the Culver City area from the 405 freeway. But we've seen the suspect get off of the freeway, get back on, get up to the 10 freeway, almost into West L.A., then turn around and get back on. And then, as we mentioned earlier, into oncoming traffic, a desperate suspect. Now, CHP and LAPD have backed off. No, they haven't. They went into a tracking mode for a while with only the helicopter overhead. Maybe what they've seen now is an indication they're not going to let this individual go, or maybe they have some more information that we don't have, Philip, as far as how many people are on board that vehicle right there. But you see another patrol car in that intersection. We just got off on Culver. Now we're headed northbound once again. I believe this may be on Sepulveda. So, boy, this is extremely dangerous. If this is an on-ramp once again to the freeway, then the suspect has been on several times, 4 or 5 times. I think that may be a collector road, and it'll put the suspect back on the freeway if they wish to. And I believe they're going to be traveling northbound once again. Actually, southbound. This way. Yeah, that's been the pattern. The suspect has been driving on the shoulder, almost getting onto an off-ramp and then cutting back into lanes. It almost appears as if the suspect believes if he does this type of driving, the CHP or LAPD won't be able to stay right behind him once again. Now, one thing, with the suspect staying in the same area, now we're looking at the Marina Freeway and getting on the westbound side. Last time the suspect took the Marina Freeway eastbound and got on the Jefferson off-ramp. But certainly erratic driving, extremely dangerous driving with no issue whatsoever. Oh, look at this. Across all lanes with no one in front of them, all of a sudden making a turn. It's almost as if this individual may be under the influence of alcohol or drugs. They're certainly indecisive. There's no pattern to what they're doing, and it looks like the left front tire has blown. That may have been a spike strip, so it may have been in that transition road. CHP or LAPD was able to get a spike strip out, and you can't travel at this high rate of speed with a blown tire. They've lost control of the vehicle. This could turn out bad. It could overturn. Certainly the higher rate of speed this vehicle travels at on that rim, the vehicle will be completely uncontrollable at some point. Correct. I mean, we don't know if it's completely flat yet, but at some point in time when it gets on the rim, at these speeds, the rim will just disintegrate. We've seen that in a lot of pursuits. And boy, at this rate of speed, you know, hitting the brakes, the vehicle could spin out. It could run into another car. It's just so dangerous for the general public because we're still seeing speeds extremely high. I would say 60, 70 miles an hour as we make our way to the end of the 90 freeway here. I think we're going to hit Lincoln in a moment, if I'm not mistaken. And the vehicle is going to become very difficult to control, trying to swerve in and out of traffic. We just hope that some innocent person doesn't get hurt here. And now backing up, trying to go around the big rig. Certainly there's a patrol car right behind this individual. We haven't seen the car hit another vehicle yet, but certainly they've come so close and they're desperate to get away. So it's almost inevitable if this continues, the suspect is going to run into another vehicle. Oh, might be in the, yeah, I thought for a minute there maybe it was that wouldn't be able to move any further, but the suspect has stopped. We're at the end of the 90 freeway, right before Lincoln, and you can see officers behind their open doors for protection. They have their weapons out, and right now they're just trying to see if they can't get the suspect out of that vehicle without incident. They're trying to get other traffic diverted so no one's in harm's way if the suspect would come out and possibly be armed, and this ended up in a shootout. They want to make sure the area is as safe as possible. But right now, they're waiting for the suspect to get out of that vehicle, and once again, it's a domestic violence suspect, possibly involved with a kidnapping, and it sounds like reports are that they believe a female in the passenger seat. So we really don't know exactly what's going on inside that vehicle right now, but they're certainly hoping they can get the individuals out of there without incident here because it's extremely dangerous. Guns are drawn, CHP and LAPD officers right behind the vehicle. Yep. Yeah, it's very possible. I think we heard initially it was a left front tire that was blown. We don't know exactly why. It appeared that it would have been pretty difficult for them to get a spike strip out that quickly, but it's possible because this vehicle kept doubling back on the 405 freeway, both north and southbound. And whether or not the vehicle can take off once again is unknown at this point in time. But open up a little bit, Marcel. We'll give you an idea just how many patrol cars are behind the vehicle right now. They've shut down the end of the 90 freeway. All lanes of the 90 closed. They're not letting anyone by. It wouldn't surprise me if they start to shut down some of the other streets around this as we have this standoff. It's a possible kidnapping suspect. They don't know if the individual, possibly a female in the passenger seat, has been kidnapped or not. So there's a lot going on here, and it's very difficult to decide on a strategy and a procedure that's going to work best. But they could take off once again. That's a possibility. You see more officers are rolling in. It wouldn't surprise me if we open up a little bit, Marcel, once again, off to the right side of the screen, they shut down that street. Is that Lincoln on the right, Marcel, off to the right? SkyMap is not up at the moment, so it wouldn't surprise me if they start to shut down some of these streets as this continues on because they want to make sure the public is safe. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, obviously the suspect is desperate, the driver, and anytime you hear someone maybe reaching under the seat, there you go, opening up a door. I was going to try and come around with a helicopter and look through the front windshield, but you do have the suspect exiting, the driver, and it appears at this point in time he is communicating with officers behind him. We hope that he continues to come out of that vehicle without making any threats towards officers. That's the real concern. If the suspect would have a weapon, wouldn't obey the officers, and they have to open fire, and then you have some innocent person inside that vehicle, their life is in jeopardy as well. So an extremely dangerous situation as the standoff continues right at the end of the 90 freeway. Hopefully the suspect will continue to obey the officer's commands, but right now he's out of the vehicle looking at officers, and you can see all the officers there with their guns drawn. We hope this does not escalate. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, that's interesting. We don't see that either. And that was, we get the scanner information from time to time. We get that a tire has blown. That came to us from what we overheard. The officers thought a tire had blown. Whether it did or not is unclear. So certainly it does appear, unless the vehicle had some sort of mechanical failure, all of a sudden the suspect could take off once again. Right now, they were just hoping, I believe, they'd be able to coerce him out of that vehicle. But as you mentioned, the suspect was agitated. It didn't appear he had a gun in his hand, but he had something. But certainly you're really concerned. It looked like from Marcel's got a much better monitor than me in the back of the helicopter. Said to him it looked like a cell phone. But certainly what you worry about is an escalation here. You worry about the officers with their guns drawn behind this vehicle. They believe there's a female passenger in there that could have possibly been kidnapped. That's unclear. It's just some information we have from officers that came across to us, but not confirmed. But if it escalates into a shootout, you worry about that innocent person mostly. We don't know if that individual, we believe a female in the passenger seat, is there willingly or not, or if they're being held by that suspect, without their own consent. Correct. Certainly, yeah, this push in, because yeah, we've got agitated behavior by the suspect, and certainly gets out, gets back in. It makes it look like he's so desperate, and it really makes officers not have any idea what this suspect will do, and that just makes things extremely dangerous. You have a suspect, there's really no rhyme or reason to his actions here. He gets out, he looks at police, he gets back in, back and forth, and right now LAPD is starting to shut down some other streets in the area. Javon, as you mentioned, there are some areas that would be extremely tough if this pursuit did continue and get into. It could endanger a lot of people in this area of Marina del Rey. They have shut down the 90 freeway and the off-ramp, so if you are watching, you wouldn't want to let anybody on the 90. This could be going on for some time, and the westbound side is completely shut down. But at this point in time, it's just a standoff. We've seen the suspect get out of the vehicle several times now, make agitated moves towards the officers, but it doesn't appear that he has any intention, at least at this point in time, to obey their commands to get out of the vehicle and, lay down on the ground. Yes, certainly all that is possible. Yeah, they don't know if the suspect is armed. I mean, everything right now is just so difficult for officers to try and really have a strategy to protect everyone here. They want to protect the public. I wouldn't surprise me if they shut down the end of that off-ramp. They haven't done that yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if they try and see if they can't close down this street here to make sure that nobody can get in the line of sight of that suspect if officers should have to open fire. You can see some people from some of the office buildings in this area just came out to watch some of the activity. They're shutting this street down now, so it looks like what they're trying to do is make this as safe as possible. If it would escalate, they're trying to make sure that no one is in the line of fire. If the suspect does come out and fire officers, they would return fire. Again, the real concern is that possible innocent victim in there. If it's a kidnapping, we believe a female in the passenger seat, they could be in danger, for no fault of their own. Is that a Prius? Yep. He's coming out of the vehicle again. Correct. Here we go. Hopefully. No. Very aggressive towards the officers. In a situation like this, if they had a canine, they could let the canine go if they don't believe he has a weapon. But you can see the movements he's making towards the officers. We believe so, but if he gets far enough away from the vehicle and they don't believe he's armed, and the officers will they'll rush him and take him out if they don't see that he's armed, because they want that person that may be in that vehicle to be safe. But it looks like, see, there they go. Exactly what I said they would do, and they've done it. They've just rushed him. They have him. Now they can open up that other door. If they can get it unlocked, they can get that woman, if it is a female in there, out. And they pretty much, well, it's locked. It has to be unlocked from the inside. They're trying as best they can, but it's not easy when you're trying to subdue a suspect who's fighting you. So it does look like they have her out safely, and it does now appear that they have the suspect in custody. So something that we watched that certainly could have went south and been extremely dangerous and could have hurt a lot of people has now ended. The suspect is in custody. They're treating the woman. They're talking to the woman, at least at this point in time, evaluating her, and the suspect is now in custody. And that's what I was saying. Once the suspect got far away enough from the vehicle, and they believed he did not have a weapon, they're not going to rush him if he has a gun in his hand. But he didn't. They had the opportunity to rush him, and it worked out perfectly. Close. Sure. Yep. Yeah, they're good at this. They train for this. I mean, you get close enough to an individual, you know that if you all rush him at the same time and you grab him, he's not going to have much of a chance to get back in. But it was close. There's no doubt, Philip, if there would have been a gun on the seat, a suspect may have had time to grab that real quick. But, that's the risk that these officers have to take. They make these split-second decisions, and they're just not easy. I mean, it's easy. One thing to watch this, and you can sort of get the strategy that they're using, but to be the person down there has to make the decision, okay, now let's go. You don't always know that it's going to be successful, but they train for this stuff, and it's usually successful. And in this case, it worked out perfectly. Yeah, boy, it was dangerous, too, on the 405, into oncoming traffic, swerving in and out. We didn't see the vehicle hit any other vehicles, and, that's almost miraculous because there were so many close calls, backing up onto an off-ramp, to get back on the 90, into oncoming traffic, going in and out of traffic on the 405, both north and south. This could have really went wrong, but fortunately, great job by the officers. They rushed them at the right time, the exact right time. Suspects in custody. As far as we know, no one's been injured, and at this point, we don't have clarification if the female was kidnapped. We just know it was a domestic violence call initially, or suspect, and then possible kidnapping. They'll work it all out, though. But the 90 freeway westbound, don't travel that direction. It'll be a while before they open this up. And it's backed up quite a ways. You don't see it in this shot, but the West 90 at the end of the freeway is closed. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Philip. They are going to try and open the freeway as quickly as they can, but there's a lot of cars here. I mean, they'll probably have it open up in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So just delay your drive from the 90 westbound onto the end of the freeway, and I think you'll be fine. But certainly, we don't know if that woman, she's obviously being detained, but we don't know if she's a suspect at this point in time. But a lot of times, they will detain them, they'll handcuff them real quick, just so they can really get a sense of what they're dealing with. They don't want her to try and run off. There's a lot of things. They need to control the situation. So they're doing the best they can in an extremely difficult situation. Thank you. Copy. Copy. Oh, is that a wig? Where is she? Go ahead and move a little bit, would you? Move forward so we can get a better look at the female. Copy. Go ahead and go forward if you can. I want to look right in here. Are they uncuffing her? No. Maybe. Hold it right here. Boy, it's so tough with this monitor. I can't see much detail at all. Yes, not working.